by Daylight panel that had just happened revealing Boomtrap as the new kid.
Oh, and it started.
Oh.
All right.
PAX EAST, how we doing? Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I was going to say we didn't even have to do the, you can do better than that. That was, actually, that was pretty good for 11 a.m., I think.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Well, hello, everyone. We're so happy that you're here. We are the members of the Slow Burn podcast. Welcome to the Rise of Cozy Gaming. We're going to be talking about all things cozy gaming, the history, what the heck it is, if it's your first time hearing about it. And yeah, it's presented by us. We have a weekly audio podcast it's on all the places, pretty much. If there's a place where you can listen to podcasts, we're there. New episodes come out every single week for free. And we also have a Patreon for bonus content like our after show as well. We're so glad that you're here. There are so many places you could be. So thanks for being here for a little bit. Who the heck are we? Some of you may be thinking, who are these people? I'm glad you asked. We co-host the Slow Burn podcast, but we're also cozy gaming content creators in our own spaces.
I'm Min, and I've never been with this many cozy gamers in a room, so this is awesome. Thank you for coming. I'm Min's Meadow on YouTube and Twitch, so you can find me there. And my tagline on the podcast is saying how excited I am to be there every episode, and I've never been this excited to see all of you in the room, so thanks for being here, guys.
My name is Patrick from NintenTalk. Thank you. Yeah, I have a channel where I talk about Nintendo, Animal Crossing, cozy games, so yeah, streams, everything like that, so thank you for being here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Payton. It's Payton with an A, not to be confused with Payton with an E or Payton with an I. Thank you. My channel is called Payton's Corner. I multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch, and I do lots of cozy gaming news, reviews, and I'm also chronically ill and cute, so I like to represent my chronic illness as well as being a person who loves cozy games. So now that you know us, let's talk about cozy games, shall we? Okay.
Can anyone name a cozy game?
You can just shout it out.
Shout it. All right, shut up. That was one noise.
Oh my god.
I heard Stardew.
I heard Echoes of the Plum Grove.
That was a good one. Any others? Couple more.
Coral Island.
Island.
Okay.
Sunhaven. Cult of the Lamb.
Dark Souls? No. That's not.
Fortnite.
Well, let's find out.
Wow. Now we're going to play a little game called Is This a Cozy Game? And we're going to read you a description of a game, and after I read it, I want you to yell and you tell me if you think it's cozy or not, and then I'll have you guess what the game is. Okay, so our first one, in this simulation game, you play as a possessed cult leader trying to create the one true cult. I'll throw in, you can also make your cult followers eat poop in it as well. So do we think cozy game, yes or no?
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah?
Yes? Okay.
Yes?
No, you're bad at it. Does anyone know the name of this game? You could shout it out. Yes,
Let's go.
Good job.
You guys are pros. You guys are so pros. Okay, maybe this next one will be hard. We've got another
It's
one.
gonna be
All right.
tough.
In this game, you wash up on a deserted island, and you pay a home loan from a talking tanuki. Okay.
What? You guys,
It's
Is it cozy though?
Home loans are super cozy.
I love paying rent.
It's Animal Crossing.
But wait, there's more.
what about this one? This one can't be cozy. In this simulation game, you inherit your grandfather's farm after leaving your corporate office job. What game is it?
Wait, we had a couple.
Louder! Yes!
Okay.
Show of hands, has anyone never played Stardew? Security, can we
Sorry.
get them out, please?
There was a prerequisite. You have to log 100
That was a lot
hours
of
to get in
hands.
the door. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. It is Stardew Valley. Good job. You guys are all pros, and you do happen to know some cozy games. So what about these things? Do you think these are cozy games? Yeah?
Well,
Well, some of them have things in them that may not be considered so cozy. Like, I remember when I played Dave the Diver, which I thought was a cute sushi making game, I had to violently harpoon a shark. It took me a little too long to be able to successfully do it, to be honest. It is a mood. But yeah, these games are also considered cozy games. We like to say all the time that we're not the cozy game gatekeepers, and cozy is an adjective, not necessarily a genre. So something may be cozy to you that may not be cozy to me, or to Min, or to Pat, and that's okay. So we're kind of, when we're talking about cozy gaming, we're talking about like a wide range of games with a wide range of themes.
yeah. I think there's a line, too, of cozy versus comfort. You know, like Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's super cozy, it's a beautiful game, but there's guardians chasing you. So, yeah, I mean, my favorite game, Skyrim, you know, people wouldn't consider cozy, but every time I play, it's like my comfort game. So, yeah.
Yeah, something we've talked a lot about on our podcast too, games that are considered cozy, but maybe kind of are on the edge of what people typically think a cozy game really is, and yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes we'll play a game that is considered a cozy game and be like, how cozy is fighting to the death in the mines in Stardew Valley? Like, do I feel comfort here, or do I feel fear?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a to each their own kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even though cozy is a wide, spectrum of games, we do have some things that typically you may see in a cozy game.
Yeah, so typically they tend to be open-ended, they tend to be somewhat cutesy at times. Life simulation games, Stardew Valley has a lot of that, the RPG elements, they tend to be play at your own pace, do what you want. That's kind of with that open-endedness. And yeah, the aesthetic style, the cutesiness, good music is a big one. You can probably hear the Stardew soundtrack and you're like, yeah, I know that song. A lot of like story-driven elements, things that make you feel something and touch you, and going into like puzzle gaming and stuff. There's a huge range of genres within this like umbrella of what typically makes a cozy game. Those are the things people typically think of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because there's no like set definition, but I think when you say, oh, this is a cozy game, it sets expectations. So people kind of know, like even if there's not cozy elements, people are like, okay, this is the genre of game I like. So.
Yeah, I feel like when you're indulging in a cozy game, it's supposed to be as little like high stress as it can possibly be. Of course, there are moments where, you're going to have challenge. There's a difference between idle games and cozy games. There can definitely be cozy idle games, but cozy doesn't mean boring. So we don't want it to be like there's nothing going on, but it usually is a chill kind of, you can relax while you're doing this sort of vibe. So now we're going to talk about what makes a cozy game to us. Again, we are not the cozy game scholars, but we have played a lot of cozy games. And talking about some of the things that we like, some of our favorite games. Me personally, I really love narrative-driven games. I love feeling like I'm curling up with a book, but instead it's my Steam Deck or my Switch. So my favorite cozy game is Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk 2, which is anyone played Coffee Talk?
See a film?
If you haven't, you should. It's so good. It's so good. What I love about that game so much is it is story-driven, and it's a story that you can play multiple times because there are multiple character arcs. I also love games where I can decorate, so I'm a big Animal Crossing New Horizons person. Has anyone heard of that game? Crazy, wow. It was such a deep cut, I thought. And I really love farming sims. I love farming sims with a little bit of spice. If I could date someone, I'm in. If they're hot, better.
She's really in.
So I play a lot of games like that. Pat, what are you playing?
I'm an Animal Crossing boy. I love my Animal Crossing. Yeah, I love cozy games that let you kind of shape the world, customize the world. Terraforming was a big thing for me. We showed off Tiny Glade before. Like, I love games that I can play, you can play, and we have a totally different experience. So, and it just gives longevity to the games too. How long can I play this game? Story games are great, but like, can I do my own thing?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like pro decorators in Animal Crossing. I am not. I'm like a farming sim girly. I love it since Harvest Moon when I was a little sprout. And yeah, so lately I've been playing a newer game that's in early access, Fields of Mystria, which I really love. And
Does anyone play Fields of Mystria?
You heard of it?
Let's go.
Yeah, and Infinity Nikki, which is a newer game and different for me, and I'm loving it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. There was an interview the other day from Concerned Ape, who makes Stardew.
Have you heard of him?
We've heard of Concerned Ape.
Yeah.
He said that he doesn't consider Stardew cozy.
He said that it was a name that was thrust upon him,
Yeah.
which makes sense. And I've also heard people being like, it's not cozy at all. Like,
Yeah.
but he's like, it's just an
It's
RPG.
a farming RPG, yeah. But again, even if he doesn't necessarily agree, I think it definitely creates expectations. So
Yeah.
I think trying to run back to the farm before 2 a.m. is very cozy. I think it feels real to my real life, like, oh, I need to get someplace at a certain time or else I'm gonna just pass out. Okay, comforting. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the history of cozy games. As defined by us, there is no set history. Cozy games have existed for a long time, but they just started becoming cozy kind of recently.
yeah, cozy game, like the term cozy games, I feel like is definitely a more modern buzzword. But Harvest Moon was doing it on the Super Nintendo. Show of hands, who is younger than Harvest Moon? 1996. Oh my God, you little babies. Yeah, it's funny because like Harvest Moon, even the original Animal Crossing, like I feel like even still, games take so much inspiration from games that were on the Super Nintendo, which is kind of crazy. Like Stardew, the biggest inspiration was Harvest Moon. So yeah, this is definitely not a new thing. You have Sims 2000, like this has been around for a while.
I saw someone in the back, not to call you out, but I noticed you when you came in, who is a sim, and they have the diamond on their head, and I saw you, and I love you, and I think this is amazing.
Oh, it lights up! Oh my God.
That's awesome.
You're killing it. I love that.
So yeah, I mean, it started with games like Harvest Moon, and then we kind of go into like the modern era, which is like 9-10 years old at this point. Stardew kind of created like the Renaissance, because we've always had like Harvest Moon, Rune Factories, things like that, but I mean, Stardew blew up, and I feel like ever since then, we've had more modern offerings. And then 2020 happened.
Yeah. I think I could be presumptuous here, but I think a lot of people either got into gaming or got back into gaming in 2020. I know myself especially, like I definitely played games a lot growing up, but then as I got older, I kind of fell off of my love of video games. But then in 2020, when nothing that remarkable happened in the world, a lot of us found a lot of time at home, and suddenly there was a very cute game where you can pay money to a tanuki on an island, and also maybe decorate, make some cool stuff, and just have a good time playing with your friends and trading and having that good time. And that's, of course, Animal Crossing New Horizons. And I feel like the blow up of Animal Crossing New Horizons then invited more and more and more cozy games, because I think Animal Crossing really broke, and we'll talk later about some like statistics about these games, really broke into not just like this cozy little space, but just like the mainstream, and so many people were playing it. And I think it showed, game developers like, hey, people are interested in this kind of thing. Like, video games don't have to just be one thing. They can be, not always high stakes or like super crazy violent. They could be cute, cozy, give you wholesome time and energy. So yeah, 2020 brought games like Animal Crossing New Horizons and games like Unpacking, lots of indie cozy games that really started to rise up. And then now we kind of are in this really cool space where there's lots of farming sim games, there's lots of narrative games, but there's also more games coming up that are really exciting and interesting too.
Yeah. I think about in like 2021 is when I first heard the term cozy gaming. But yeah, now we're like in it, like in the heat of cozy gaming. It's ramping up. We have Concerned Ape making Haunted Chocolatier as we speak. I hope he's working on it
right now.
And it's gonna get categorized in that cozy genre from the get-go, because no matter what kind of game it is, because his Stardew Valley. And we have a game like Witchbrook coming up, which kind of takes a spin off of like the life sim, farming sim genre, but it's a college setting where you're a witch, and it has the pixel art and all of that. And we have some like coming this month. Where Fantasy Life is this
Fantasy
month.
Life.
For real this time.
Yes, we hope so.
We hope.
Yeah, and like Rune Factory and those games, you could go play the demos here, but Story of Seasons, which used to be Harvest Moon. So we have some exciting things for the future, hopes for a new, what game, Pat? What game do you want?
Animal Crossing, please.
Yes, please. So.
And hopefully not in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully like reasonably soon.
Yes.
Yeah, I think 2020 was so huge because obviously Animal Crossing, people are at home, right? So there was a ton of gamers coming back to gaming, buying a Switch for the first time just for that. And I feel like the industry has shifted a lot, where it's like devs are like, we got to cater to those people because New Horizons doesn't get updates anymore. And these people have Switches. So you're seeing a lot. I mean, 2020, I think, out of all these years, besides the beginning, very pivotal in all these new cozy games coming out. So.
I also think too, with handheld consoles, we started to see cozy gaming become more of a thing. For me personally, like I said, I'm chronically ill and cute, so sometimes I can't sit at the PC. I don't have an Xbox on my TV, so a lot of the times when I'm gaming, I want to be comfortable and I want to be laying down in my bed in like a ball and hold my Switch or my Steam Deck. And I think that happened to be something that a lot of people resonated with, especially in a time where there was so much uncertainty and so many negative things going on in the world. I think we saw more people run toward things that were like, dude, I can't do something crazy today. Don't leave me alone. I just want to talk to my little, cute little dog. I just want to throw mushrooms around. I want to plant some flowers. Like, I don't want to think about the destruction of the world that I'm living in. And yeah, I think it definitely saw a lot. And I think now more than ever, there are so many more cozy games. And I think a lot of that is because they've been popular. Like, these games have really, done some really big numbers.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, you think of the Switch, it's so successful, and the second best-selling game is Animal Crossing, behind Mario Kart, which we love Mario Kart. But yeah, it's Animal Crossing. I don't know if they expected that kind of sales. It's always been like a very niche franchise until recently. But 47 million, the Wii U sold 13 million, So.
Wait, can we get a show of hands how many of you have bought Animal Crossing New Horizons? Twice. Okay, now put your hand down. If you purchased a second Switch to play it again, okay, less people. All right, so not as many people are crazy like me. Okay. Good. Glad we're on the
How
same
many
page.
Switches did you buy?
Okay, to be fair, one of them was a birthday gift. So technically, I just bought one, but I do own. How many do you own?
So let's go to the next slide.
Yeah. Min, how many do you own?
Just one.
I
have a
Flex.
Switch Lite.
I think 4. I was up to 4.
So 2.
You're up to 4
I think
Switches.
so. Yeah.
But
Don't
he
say it like
doesn't
that.
have
I
the Animal
judge you.
Crossing limited
Legend.
edition one.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
shocked by that. We're like, you're the Animal Crossing guy. You don't have that one? No, he's too cool. So.
Another one, obviously, being Stardew Valley, which 41 million.
It keeps going up. Like that number,
Yeah.
I thought it was at 30 million. It's
Yeah.
at 41 million. Maybe more. Maybe it went up a million
Yeah,
right
and-
after this podcast.
Maybe after this. And especially from a solo dev, an indie game that kind of came out of nowhere. I was so surprised to see it had that many. Raise your hand, have you purchased Stardew Valley?
Wow.
A lot of people, yeah. I would ask if you bought it a second time, but
That's more.
Okay.
than
why?
Switch, yeah.
That's on multiple, to have it on multiple.
Switch, Steam
Ah.
Deck. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, can I ask a off the script question? I'm kind of am interested. I know many of you probably have multiple ways you game, but just think about your main way that you like to play games. Raise your hand if your main way to play a game is on a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Okay. Raise your hand if your main way to play a game is sitting at a PC.
Let's go.
Okay. Thank you.
Other
Are there any Steam Deck people? Yes, or like Steam Deck adjacent, like any of those type of ones. Okay. And then how many of you are like Xbox, PlayStation? Okay. Wow, like a nice,
Pretty good mix.
a
Yeah.
nice variety in there. So yeah. So a lot of you have played Stardew Valley probably on all of those platforms. I love that.
And I think Stardew like started Pandora's box. You know, Pandora's box is open. There's so many like copies of Stardew. Some good, some not so good. But yeah, like when Stardew came out, indie games really started to take off, you know? And the fact that one guy made this, doesn't charge for updates, like this is definitely the king, I think. The king of, yeah.
Yeah. How many people was Stardew Valley your first farming sim? Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big mountain.
I feel like that's starting to become the norm. It's people's first farming game they've ever played. And yeah, for the people like me who their first one was Harvest Moon, I always felt like it was a different experience being like, wait, Stardew Valley, you know, people will be like, oh, Fields of Mystery are copied Stardew Valley. They're doing all this. And I'm like, well, Harvest Moon actually did that. So,
Callum.
And then you have things like Unpacking, which is a very small indie game getting 1 million. And
In just a year.
In
That's
the-
only
I
in
think-
1 year.
yeah,
yeah, and like 100,000, I think, in the first week, if I'm right. Something crazy like that.
like there are big developers and big companies that like put tons of marketing, you know, they have a huge team behind them and they sometimes can't break 1 million. So yeah, the genre is very healthy and you're seeing a lot more games pop up.
Yeah. How many of you have played Unpacking? Oh, a lot of people.
so
I
good.
love that game. That game is so good.
Yeah.
And in case you needed even more proof that cozy games are real and successful, here are some stats. These are all from Kickstarter campaigns. So these are all like crowdfunded from potentially some of you, maybe. Raise your hand, have you backed any of these games?
Okay.
Okay, a little bit. So these are some of the most popular ones that are cozy games. So we've got My Time at Evershine, which is in the My Time series. If you've ever played My Time at Sandrock or My Time at Portia, this is the next one. This one is more recent, and they raised $2.9 million. And Kickstarter campaigns are only 30 days, so that's a lot of money in such a short time. Another big one is a game called Puff Pal's Island Skies, which raised $2.5 million. It's like an upcoming farming game where there's cute animals. There's also Coral Island, which is a game that is out already, you can play, raised $1.6 million. And there's another upcoming game that's like a solar punk farming and also kind of like chill productivity game called Loftia, coming up, $1.2 million. And these are just some, but
Yeah.
it's becoming really popular to see these games pop up on Kickstarter, and it gets us excited about it too, because it lets us kind of know as content creators, like, oh, okay, this game, people are interested in it. What is this? Like, let me take a look at it. But yeah, whenever I see numbers like this, I'm always so surprised, and I myself too have to kind of be like, okay, this is not just like a little thing that only a couple people like. Like, people really are showing up for the cozy games.
Yeah, yeah, these numbers are crazy. Like, and you said it's a 30-day period. So, yeah, there's definitely demand for games like this, and people love to latch on to projects that are like just starting. You can give the dev like a little bit of insight in what you would like to see, and a lot of these have like betas and alphas. So, I think even more now, the community of cozy gamers are like shaping these games,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah, like the more money that they raise, the more stretch goals are hit, and then, you know, the more things get put into the game because of the funding. So, like the cozy gaming community is really shaping the games and making a difference with funding these, and these teams range from like one person as the dev to like a whole team. So, you know, the fan funding can benefit immensely.
I also like when you get like plushies. I feel like
Yeah.
I'll back your game if you give me a plushie.
Yeah, that's gotta be
Always.
on there.
Always. Did anyone buy a Stardew chicken plushie? Yeah, I did too. I did too. We're also seeing cozy gaming coming into marketing. People know that this is a buzzword, and they're using it. Not always well, sometimes. It's a little, okay, we're just slapping cozy on to slap it on, but it is happening nonetheless.
Yeah, even like Infinity Nikki, which I mentioned earlier, is calling itself the coziest open world game. And then we have games that you see here on the screen. Cozy Caravan, a game in early access where you play as a range of cute animals. My favorite is the strawberry cow, because strawberry cows are superior to all other cows. And they are real in my world. My Sims labeled their bundle Cozy Bundle, and then the Harvest Moon that isn't really the Harvest Moon did a Cozy Bundle, and just the tagline being tagged even on like Steam for cozy. I think like anybody puts that tag just to get it in there, but the Wholesome Direct, if you guys have heard of it, it's like a Nintendo Direct, but it's mostly focused on casual, cozier games, and a lot of indie games that are like up and coming. And even Nintendo has been highlighting a lot of cozy games, which we love. And we love the ones that like the majority of like Nintendo YouTubers are like, well, that one sucked. We were like, no, that was amazing. All the cozy games.
Is anyone excited for the Switch 2? Okay.
Imagine they said no.
I know, that wasn't as loud.
Actually, that wasn't
as
you're not
hyped
that
as we
excited,
thought.
I don't think. Did you raise your hand if you pre-ordered it? That's not,
Wow.
I didn't either.
Wow.
That's more than I thought, because did you try to pre-order it on that day?
I tried to pre-order to get in line to buy you one, because I knew you wanted it. I said, I actually don't have the money, so let me wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge for Nintendo to announce their new console, which is such a huge moment. And some of the games they showed off were cozy games. You had Story of Seasons, you had Rune Factory, Witchbrook was in there. So yeah, it's not like a niche thing anymore. Like these games are making its way into these big presentations. And
Yeah, Nintendo even has that like cozy page
Yeah,
now.
they have a Keep It Cozy page on the eShop where they highlight games like Echoes of the Plum Grove and Animal Crossing, of course. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see that they have picked up on it too. And I'm hoping that we get more first-party Nintendo, like cozy-focused games. I think that would be so cool.
Yeah, for sure. So now we're going to talk a little bit about what makes a cozy game popular. This is something we talk about a lot on our show. If you've ever listened to it, you have heard us agonize about why do certain cozy games stick and why do some fall off after like a day. And some of our favorite games like not getting enough love, or maybe games we don't love getting a lot of hype too. So yeah, now we're going to kind of talk about that. In your guys' opinion, like what makes a cozy game popular to you and make it kind of be something that is more of a staple in the cozy gaming community, like Stardew, Animal Crossing, The Sims, all that kind of stuff?
if there's any devs out there, they have their notebooks out right now.
Write that down.
Yeah, it's very tough because, like, you know, back in the day, you could release a game that was complete. You know, you go to the store. Like, I can still pop in a GameCube game at home and play the entire thing. Now it's not really like that. You have to keep people's attention. You know, so you're seeing a lot of post-launch stuff with updates and DLC and stuff like that. And I feel like people need that. You know, they don't necessarily need a completed game at launch. It's more so like, can I, you know, make a community in this game? So I think post-launch content is like vital. Updates, people, you know, stream the updates, and it's a big thing. So.
Yeah. And has anyone heard of Palia? It's a free game, and it has a lot of like farming-focused elements. And this game is not only free, which I think really helped it, you know, make its way into the cozy genre, but just gaming in general, but also something called Twitch drops, which other games that, like Infinity Nikki, sorry, I keep saying it, but they're starting to do Twitch drops, and I think things that help creators and consumers both benefit from the game in that way, because you get an in-game reward for watching a streamer, and it builds this community because it's like they're promoting the game, and then more people know about it and more people are streaming it, and it gets in front of more people's eyes. So something to definitely consider for game devs, that that is a huge thing that keeps the game popping off and keeps creators like marketing your game and talking about it and figuring out more and more things that they can do in the game and taking time to like build a community to do things like people did in Animal Crossing, like look like how long that the longevity of the game was, doing different challenges and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's like games that have the potential to, like, you can make something and show it to people. Like, I think some of my favorite cozy games are ones, I love to decorate, but I know not everyone does. But I just love to be able to make something and, you know, post it, be like, this is my cozy little build on this game. And then I can go on social media and see everyone's that's like 10 times better than mine. Like, why should I even try playing the game? Jesus, like, this is so much better than mine. I love that. And I think that the games that do invite, like kind of what Min was just saying, like ability to kind of like yes and in the game to do more than maybe even just like what you thought it was going to be. Like in Palia, for example, like people started doing like house plot tours, so you can not just only build your own thing and do your own thing, but you could go visit other people's and have made content out of that. And that's fun to be able to connect with people and, you know, see the things that they can create. I mean, we have an Animal Crossing expert here. Pat has like made so many Animal Crossing challenges, like things that I'm sure Nintendo would never have thought to, like, yes, let's put this in our game. Let's make people compete while villager hunting. I don't think Nintendo even knew that we were gonna villager hunt. So I think that possibility to bring yourself into it and to bring the community into it is something that sometimes can help to make it popular, though there are tons of games that just don't get enough love. There's too many hidden gems that we always try to highlight, but it's definitely hard to get them to stick.
Yeah. Another thing is just having your game on a platform that people could play. You know, there's so many times where we talk about games and we're like, this is so great, and then people are like, is it on the Switch? Or like, no. So yeah, I think popular games, like 9 times out of 10, that you could play them on Switch. So
it also has to be able to run on the Switch.
Yeah.
It's not enough for it to just be available to purchase. It's got to be playable, like a little bit at least. Yeah. We also have lots of other people jumping on the cozy bandwagon. You're seeing lots of other companies expand into the cozy gaming realm, like some of these titles. Notably, we've got Tales of the Shire. Is anyone excited about that one? Okay, all right, Lord of the Rings fans. And that's a Lord of the Rings Hobbit. I wouldn't call it farming game. It's like gardening and cooking.
Yeah.
Gardening, cooking, looking at your little hobbit feet, stomping.
Yeah, Payton loves those hairy feet.
Payton loves feet.
I love it. Just don't look at the feet. The hairy feet, I love it. I love it for you.
Customizing the feet.
You can customize the feet, yeah. If you've ever played a game and you're like, you know what would really sell this? I can add hair to the feet and determine how much hair to the feet. This could be the one for you. I think it's coming out in July.
It was also one that got delayed.
Yeah, it got delayed like 2 times, so don't listen. If they delay it, like they'll delay it right now. They're posting it as we speak.
Yeah. Any Disney Dreamlight Valley players? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you see companies like Disney and you even have League of Legends making a cozy game, you know, you're seeing big properties invest a lot of money into these games, and you know it's popping off when these companies do it.
Yeah, and Disney trying to kind of emulate this coffee talk vibe with their Villains Curse.
Wait, you said trying?
Yes. Oh. Trying.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say. Yeah, and that was in a Nintendo Direct too, which was pretty shocking. I think we weren't really expecting a game from Disney, another game like that they're trying to emulate something else, because with Dreamlight Valley, a lot of people were comparing it to Animal Crossing at the start of that game too.
Yeah. There's also a few others of like cases of, like I'm thinking of like Snufkin Melody of Moomin Valley, like taking the Moomin character and making a whole game about it, which was exciting for me because I wasn't really familiar with Moomin before. Also, Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty, yeah.
Yes.
Anyone, Hello Kitty Island Adventure? Like that was a big game this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing lots of other characters, you know, get their own cozy game. And I always think it's really exciting because it can, you know, maybe you've never seen Lord of the Rings and you stumble on Tales of the Shire and you're like, wow, those hairy hobbit feet, I'm a fan. And so now maybe you're gonna go and read the books or watch the movies. Vandaltale is one that's on this slide. I was not very familiar with League of Legends. I just knew a little bit about it, but I'd never played it myself. And this was their cozy game, and I really liked that game so much that it made me interested to learn more about the characters. And I think that it can be, sometimes I think people are slapping on cozy when we don't need to be, but I think that it is a really nice way to kind of expand your horizons. If maybe you are someone who, you're like, I just play cozy games, it can kind of introduce you to other types of games too, which is cool. So yeah.
And all these are on Switch?
Will
be. Tales of the Shire will be.
We can't pinky promise that. We're not.
It'll be on Switch.
It says it will.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
All right, so we have mics set up if you want to do that. But first, we want to flex on people.
Oh, we want to take a picture. We were scared no one was going to come, but then you did. But then
Yeah,
you did.
wow.
So
We
gotta
almost filled this
We got to
room.
make some people jealous, okay? So when I turn, I want you guys to go crazy.
Wait,
okay?
so should we stand up so we're in it as well?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay. And then we'll do questions.
And then we'll answer.
Guys can go like this.
All right.
Okay, where do we go?
Right here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
You guys are photogenic.
Yes, if you have any
you have a
questions,
question-
we have some mics.
We have a mic here and here. You guys can line up.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do you have a
Our,
question?
our first friend.
Hi, I was wondering if you thought there, if you think that the increasing popularity of cozy games and the decreasing coziness of the world are linked. Because all these house decorating games, and I'm probably never going to be able to afford to buy a real one, so it's like fulfilling a need at a much lower price.
Absolutely, because I am horrible at interior design in my house. I don't garden, but in these games, I can do it all, and I feel on top of the world. I'm productive. It kind of gives you a sense of good feeling, but a lot of people are like, no, why would I want to pay off my loans in a game?
Yeah.
Because I can't do it for real.
Exactly.
Same. Yeah. I love that in a cozy game, I could sell a gold star potato and suddenly I have millions of dollars. Same. I do think so, absolutely. And I think we saw that with Animal Crossing getting so popular, but I think so even more so now. People are running toward things that make them feel good. And, why not? Yeah, I agree. I'm probably never going to have a house too. So if I could make a mansion in The Sims, I'm going to go make my little mansion in The Sims. And I'll feel good about it because maybe I'll never get to do that. So yeah, I think it definitely correlates for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go here.
Hi, I'm fangirling so bad right now.
Oh, I'm fangirling. What?
My name is Stephanie. I've been playing cozy games since God, I'm 32, y'all. Save the Homeland, Harvest Moon, like anybody.
Let's go.
Yes, if they brought that back, I'd faint. But for me, personally, early access has been kind of ruining cozy games for me. And I know that you guys talked about it, I think in episode 2 or 3. But at this point, replayability is not a thing I care about because if I know the story, I can't go back and do it again. And I don't know why. And I don't know if anybody has that problem. So it's been really cool. Coral Island was a big one, right? 1.0 was not 1.0. I put 50 hours into that game and realized it wasn't finished. So I never went back. Do you feel like there's a right way to do early access without ruining it for the players?
Yes.
Has one.
I think, so I have really been feeling icky about playing a lot of early access games, especially this year, because I think it is a little bit burnout. It's very different what you get versus what you expect. It's hard to know what to expect because some are pretty polished and others, it's like they are just starting development. And so you don't know what you're gonna get. And you have to wait for updates. I feel that Fields of Mystery has done a good job because they gave you the full year of things to do. You have a festival, you have up to this many hearts, which with each romanceable candidate, and they did a really good job giving you enough for at least like this first year of feeling like it was finished up to that point, where I think a lot of other games are like Coral Island, are like, oh, this part's closed, this part's not open yet. And they communicate well too. This is what's coming, this is what to expect, this is when our game is expecting to be launching. But I think the other problem with early access is when a game maybe should have been early access, like this. Should I name?
I mean, you can do what you want.
Pixelshire is a game we were talking about in our Discord. They launched their game, Farming Sim. Everyone's hyped for it, but then it's like they rushed it out. It's not done, and now their game is getting bad press. And if it was early access, it's a lot less of that, because that's the expectation. So I think there's good and bad, but it's definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, I've seen that, like, as long as the devs are communicating, people are happier to wait, but it is tough, you know, if you ever, you know, haven't played Stardew for a while, and you go back to Stardew, and you're like, what the heck was I was doing? Like, that's what early access feels like to me, so unfortunately, whenever I see early access, I tend to pass on it, but, you know, you can wish list them.
Yeah, this is such a good question. I'm so mixed on early access myself, because I do like to feel like I'm a part of something, and in that early, like, giving feedback. You can usually join, like, the Discord server and be like, hey, like, I really like this, but, like, what if this happened? And maybe, just maybe, your, you know, feedback might make it in the game. And I do like that, but yeah, there has been, and it's very good for the devs, too, especially indie devs, to be able to, like, workshop their game and not have that pressure of, like, okay, we're launching, oh, that was a, sorry, I didn't mean that to be, I'm very, not that cozy. Jesus, sorry, that was a little aggressive. And not have that pressure of, okay, we're launching. We're gonna get all the reviews are gonna flood in, and the game has to be kind of at a higher standard. However, now we're kind of having a lot of early access where, like, games get abandoned, and you're kind of like, okay, well, I bought this on Steam. I knew it was early access. I knew that it wasn't going to be perfect. But this is not an excuse for it to be unplayable and stay unplayable for a long time. And on the other hand, yeah, we have games that are coming out for full launch that maybe just were too ambitious and would have benefited from early access to be able to, you know, like, I think Min is right. Fields of Mystery, I think, is my favorite example of early access as well, because they've been very clear. I think you need to be clear about the expectations you're setting with early access. And of course, things change. Like, making a game is no easy feat. I couldn't even imagine. But just being like, hey, this is what you're gonna get if you buy the game now in early access. This is what's going to come next, and about when. This is what's gonna come after that, and about when. I also went through the many hours of Coral Island. I think I've played like 400 now. And I knew it was early access, and I had that same kind of feeling of like, I played this in early access for a year, it's finally dropping 1.0, and then it's like, okay, but actually all this stuff still isn't in it yet. And I do like games to have updates, like to feel like a living, breathing thing, but I do think some games kind of take advantage of it, and it's really disappointing because I think a lot of people will buy a game too and maybe not, it says it on Steam, but you know, it's like underneath. Some people might not even know it's early access, and then they just get an unfinished game, and they're like, well, what the heck? So yeah.
You like to go?
That's our short answer.
Yeah.
Listen, we got time.
Good morning. I don't consider myself much of a gamer, but my girlfriend's a huge fan of the podcast. I would just, based on some of the qualities that you were expressing about cozy games, it seems like sports games like NHL or Madden could potentially fall under a cozy game because of their simulations. They allow you to like customize teams, jerseys, and all that stuff, and letting you play at your own pace. I was wondering to get your opinion on a non-traditional view of like what a cozy game could be, such as that.
That's a great question.
Yeah. You play sports games a lot, right?
I love sports games, yeah. If I'm not playing cozy games, I'm probably playing sports games. And I agree with you. It's just like you can kind of turn your brain off and just, you know, customize your teams or go through a season. So, yeah, like we were saying before, the cozy game is just a buzzword. It's just something like cozy versus comfort. We always talk about that. So, yeah, I think that could fit into it, for sure.
Yeah, like we said, it's whatever you consider cozy.
Yeah.
Mario Baseball was my favorite game growing up, both on the GameCube and the Wii. So I'm for it. I think it's, again, like anything that you want, like what makes you feel cozy. And if that's throwing around a football, then so be it.
Yeah, love that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys. What game would you guys like to consult the dev team to help pave the path for the game's future?
That's such a good question.
If I could bust in a Nintendo HQ and give some I would love to give them some ideas because I feel like they're very traditional, right? You know, so yeah, would they do paid updates for something like Animal Crossing? Would that even, you know, because we all want these games to stick. We don't want to like fall in love with these games and then like a year later, it's like, well, what now? So yeah, I would say Nintendo.
Yeah, I feel like some of the games that I like are either doing it well or they're too intimidating, like Infinity. I don't want to be involved in that. So any like small indie farming or life sim trying to like come up, I think would really be fun. And I think it'd be really rewarding to be able to help like give feedback and be like, you should try this or you should do that. Because I feel that way already when I'm playing and trying out a lot of new like farming sims or games similar to that. Do you have a specific one?
Yeah, I do. I've been having this problem recently of most of the content I make is like, look at these upcoming games. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited about this game. And then the game comes out, and it's not that good. And so I've told myself, like, I need to stop, like, my expectations maybe need to come down. So the game that I would most likely to bust in the room for is Witchbrook, because it is an upcoming game. It was first announced in like 2016, 2017. We had nothing but like 3 screenshots all this time until a couple months ago when they announced the launch for Switch. The hype is through the roof. So I just want to be in the room. Listen, I don't know anything about making a game. I just want to be there to be like, no pressure. But there's a lot of pressure on this.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think I thought of one specifically, and they're here, and I gave them my card, but like Story of Seasons, I feel like they could do things to kind of catch up maybe with the modern farming games a little bit. I think that would actually be really fun. And they didn't have strawberry cows, I asked them, but they have other variants.
Well, why?
I don't know if we're supposed to say this, but we had a meeting with like a bunch of devs and people in the
We didn't
industry.
sign anything.
No, we didn't sign anything.
And it was like anonymously, we don't know who they were.
And they asked us a bunch of questions, so we got you guys. We got you.
Yeah.
This way?
Sorry.
No, you're
From a game dev perspective, like I like mostly like the genre of wholesome games. So I was thinking like, what is like the difference really between like a cozy game and a wholesome game? What's the intersection? Because I know like by vibes they are kind of different, maybe, but like in actuality, like how different are they?
Yeah, I think again, it really does come down to like your personal opinion. I love Cult of the Lamb is one we mentioned. I consider it cozy because even though you're, you know, leading a cult and making people eat their own poop, and like making them like get together, I find it comforting, but I wouldn't call it wholesome. I don't know that it's that wholesome of a game. So for me, I think maybe that's where the distinction is. I would still call something like Stardew wholesome, even though you're like fighting slimes in the mines. I think it just kind of, maybe the subject matter is what makes it wholesome to me.
So maybe like vibes-based in like that sense.
Maybe like what?
Vibes-based.
Oh, like like spaces?
Yeah.
Vibes.
I mean, there's a whole other genre of like companion games, like Spirit City Lo-Fi, if anyone's heard of that. Like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of games that, you know, don't necessarily have combat or like push that line. So I think for me, that's, yeah, but they're pretty interchangeable. Like the wholesome direct is a cozy game direct. So
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Over here?
Hi there, I'm Lala from Toge Productions, the studio behind Coffee Talk.
I love You're my favorite. I'm such a big fan. Hello.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for like mentioning Coffee Talk like a couple times, and even like including in your slides. But so previously you mentioned before that cozy means different like for everyone. So I want to ask you like what does like cozy means personally for each of you, and what is like something that you typically looking for in like a cozy game? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Go ahead,
calm
Coffee
down.
Talk fan.
Calm down, babe.
I gotta go. You gotta get up here. I gotta go down there. Coffee Talk is my favorite game. Both 1 and 2. I'm so excited for Coffee Talk Tokyo. Like my excitement is through the roof. I think that is a perfect example of what I look for in a cozy game. When I played Coffee Talk the first time, I was having a really bad day. And I think I was having a really bad like chronic illness day specifically, and I just was not feeling well. And so I was like, I don't want to have to like, do a whole bunch of things. I just want to like pick something up and experience something. And when I played Coffee Talk, I played the whole thing in one sitting. I just didn't put it down. And so I think I'm always looking forward that feeling where I can put down my Steam Deck or put down my Switch and be like, I forgot what was bothering me before I started this. And that can look different in a lot of different things. Sometimes it's reading a visual novel. Sometimes it's, like doing a puzzle game. I love puzzle games so much too. Sometimes it's farming. Sometimes I love fishing. Let me fish. Give me a fishing rod. Not in real life. I'm so scared of fish. But give me a virtual fishing rod. I'm ready. So yeah, I think it's that quality of like escapism almost, like feeling like I am transported from my small little apartment to whatever world this game is taking me on is kind of the quality I look for.
Yeah, I think for me it's just immersion. Like it's 11:51 right now. If I turn Animal Crossing on, it's 11:51. So I love games that like I could just kind of get lost into, and yeah, I think it's just it's kind of hard to answer because it's like a feeling, But
Yeah. I would say I like, what I like about farming games or like the life sim elements is feeling like I'm kind of creating my own little life or little bubble, and the escapism, like you mentioned, feeling immersed, like this is my little world that I get to go into, like kind of like reading a book, but you have the visuals, you have the choices, and you're the main character. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have like 10 minutes.
Hello. I had a quick question, and that is my question is, would platformers and visual novels both count as comfy games at all? Or like cozy games?
Yeah, I love a visual novel. You hear me talking about Coffee Talk. Some of my other favorites, I love the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. Such an amazing game. I know Devolver is here, like just amazing. I also love Stray Gods, the role-play musical. Yes, I was such a little theater girl, and it's a visual novel that's all sung through, and you get to make the choices, and based off of your choices, the song differs, which I think is very comforting to me, choices are comforting. Like, I feel like I'm getting to determine how this goes. And platformers too. I think like one of my favorite platformer games is The Plucky Squire, which came out last year. It's so cute. It's set in this very like wholesome like storybook world, and the character is in a storybook 2D, but then they get sucked out of their storybook and they're in 3D and they're trying to get back home. And it still is a really cute vibe, even while you're climbing pretty difficult platforms. So yeah, I think absolutely.
Yeah, touching on the platforming, I think it depends on the way you do it and like what the aesthetic of the game is, whether like the community of cozy gamers will, categorize it into a category. So yeah, like Infinity Nikki has a lot of platforming. It's like Zelda but easy, and same with like a game like Magical Delicacy tried to do a lot of platforming in their cozy like witch cooking game. And so I think it depends on the way you do it and kind of like how the game looks, and then yeah, kind of like intro to platforming kind of games.
Yeah, I think it really depends, because like something like Yoshi would be cozy to me, but like Celeste or Super Meat Boy probably wouldn't be.
I like Hollow Knight.
They look cozy, but yeah. So I think it depends on platformers, but visual novels definitely, for sure.
Good question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm curious which games you've sunk the most hours into in terms of cozy games, and then also balancing that of like what's the replayability and what would you look into, like restarting the game? Would you do a different mode? Like for me, it's definitely Stardew Valley, but I've seen other streamers, you know, take instead of the community center route, they would go like the Joja Center. So, curious about that.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I have 2,200 hours in Animal Crossing. That's
Hi,
Patrick. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say my two most played are probably like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, but I am not somebody who is good at the end game content in Stardew Valley. I'm a chronic starter over. So, yeah.
I don't want to show Pat up, but I have 3,300 hours in Animal Crossing.
That's a lot.
Maybe I'm just not as good at decorating, so it takes me a little bit longer. So that's my top one. But then my second one is Coral Island. I have, I think, 400 hours and 300 to 400 hours. It probably is because early access I had to restart a bunch of times. I think it probably, other farming sims would be similar. But yeah, I love to restart a farming sim. In Stardew Valley, it's great because you have that clear distinction of you can do the community center and you could do the Joja route, but there's also mod support too. So many amazing people have made mods that introduce new characters and new mechanics. So I'm definitely a restarter too. Replayability is always important to me. I want to be able to feel like I can play something I loved, but maybe in a different way.
Over here.
Hi guys. So I think there's a lot of different components that, you know, for each individual person can make something a cozy game. For me, it's like music and a gameplay loop that I can really get into. You talked about that a bit. Something you can sink into and just kind of like ignore the burning of reality and escapism, huge part of video games generally. Music for me, Wind Waker is not really considered like a cozy game by a lot of people, but I think it's got one of the most cozy soundtracks that really sticks in your head for a long time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So first part, yeah. Everyone still uses the music to this day, and we're getting a re-release for Switch 2. Very excited. Are you playing Wind Waker Remastered? What games have music that, like, even if they're not considered cozy, that really stick in your head over a long period of time that you think is cozy?
Yeah, I got two. I think Stardew is undefeated. Like Stardew is the benchmark. I love Skyrim. Skyrim's like music is so good. But yeah, I actually saw the Stardew orchestral like show that they put on. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, the most nostalgic video game music is Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town. It just like hits hard. But, yeah.
I love the Moonstone Island music. Moonstone Island's one of my favorite games, and the battle, it's always the same song, and I spend a lot of time battling in the dungeons in Moonstone Island, and it's that same loop, but I eat it up every time. Like a lot of games I'll play with just like lo-fi on instead, but Moonstone Island, I crank that. Also, another one, there's a game called Bloomtown, A Different Story, and it's like a dark kind of like RPG, and you're like fighting in these dungeons, and the music is insane. Like the first time I was streaming it, I had to stop what I was doing and we just like bopped because it was just so good. And yeah, I've never played Wind Waker, but that's what you asked about, right? I've not played it before, but I want to play it when it is remastered.
So we probably have time for one more question.
Fight to the death. Just kidding, please don't, please don't.
When I go over here, you do this side?
Wherever. This side, right? Because we just did that side?
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I have a question and then possibly a suggestion depending on your answer.
Sure.
Games here at PAX East that you may have just started, playing or testing. Are there any cozy games that you've found here that you recommend we try out or that you're really looking forward to?
That's a great question. Thank you. Yeah, the three of us waited all day yesterday for Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, and all three of us were like, actually, worth it.
Yep, we've converted her to Story of Seasons.
I haven't been a big Story of Seasons person, but I played those 15 minutes, and I was like, wait, actually.
Wait a minute.
Another good one at that same booth is Moonlight Peaks, and it doesn't have a long line, but it's a really cool like gothy sort of like you play as a vampire, but it's still a cozy game. So definitely check that out. And then Rune Factory's there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many games, so definitely go wait in those lines. Go check them out as much as you can. We have had so much fun so far. Everything we've gotten to play.
The Marvelous booth for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to mention those?
Yeah, okay. So we're going to be letting them take this room. But if you want to ask us any questions after or just, hang out, we're going to be in Q room 204.
204. It's like right next door. So if you guys want to say hi or whatever. But thank you guys so much for coming.
Sorry we didn't get to the question.
And go listen to the Slow Burn podcast if you liked this.
Yeah.
Yes.